Jagmeet Singh won day one of the 2019 Canadian federal election. And that's not just my biased viewpoint. That is the consensus of Canada's biggest political journalists and commentators. I'm going to throw up some links on the screen, and you're going to see that from some of the biggest voices in Canadian media, in both French and English Canada, is a general viewpoint that Jagmeet Singh won yesterday. Jagmeet Singh won because he was clear about a policy-based vision. He wasn't on the back foot, and he wasn't spending most of his time attacking his opponents. He was giving Canadians, he was giving voters a prospective vision about what the NDP will offer in government and what the NDP is going to be elaborating on over the next month and a bit. And it's also noted that Jagmeet Singh came off as well-spoken, as strong, as principled, as reflecting the diversity of this country, as powerful and optimistic. All of these sorts of things really outlined Jagmeet Singh finding a sort of swagger that for some people at least they felt has eluded him. And that it's a great timing, of course, because election day, we're after Labor Day, there's only a few weeks until we actually vote. This is when a lot of Canadians are going to start paying attention. A lot of voters who don't watch political news, who don't watch the Christo Abilis YouTube channel, are going to start for the first time paying attention. And they're going to see a Jagmeet Singh performance that's impressive. And look, we've noted on this channel, the media is not one to give easy praise to the NDP and Jagmeet Singh. So when they do give that praise, you have to eminently know that it is earned. That Jagmeet Singh might have even been better than what these, comments are indicating. Because the media has been reluctant, I think, to praise the NDP on policy matters or on matters of campaign rhetoric and so on and so forth. And it doesn't hurt that the other political leaders, I think especially Justin Trudeau and Elizabeth May, but even Andrew Scheer, struggled to put forward a strong narrative going into the campaign. For Justin Trudeau, it was a very bad launch, I have to say. He was on the back foot because of SNC-Lavalin, and of course that timing is nothing he can control, but the reality is that prevented him from getting forward, a positive message about what he was going to do. All he could say was, I'm standing up for jobs, and, parrot the same lines he's been parroting for months whenever he gets questions about SNC-Lavalin. And it wasn't a time for Trudeau to talk about his accomplishments or what he plans to do. It was a purely defensive affair. And even for Andrew Scheer, whose launch wasn't as bad as Trudeau's, he spent an inordinate amount of time talking about SNC. And I don't think Scheer is wrong to talk about SNC. I think that it's an important issue. But the point is Scheer spent less time talking about how he is going to be a good prime minister and more time about how Justin Trudeau is going to be a bad prime minister. Now, there's time for that. This is a long election. But in your campaign launch, it's time to be positive and prescriptive about what you want to do. Jagmeet Singh has attacked Justin Trudeau, but yesterday it was overwhelmingly about a positive, pragmatic vision for Canadians. And we didn't really get that from Andrew Scheer. And while a lot of people said that Elizabeth May's launch had a passionate feel to it, her party and Elizabeth May herself over the past few days have been racked by gaffe and scandal. The NDP departures in New Brunswick that were originally 14, 15 people, it might be as little as 2 people now. And the reality is that we don't know the Green Party's stance on a woman's right to choose. Elizabeth May said candidates who oppose that right are welcome, and then yet the party said they are not welcome, and then the following day there's evidence that there are currently candidates who have beliefs against a woman's right to choose in the slate of Green candidates. We don't know where the Greens stand on that, and we don't really know where the Greens stand on the question of separatism in Quebec, because Pierre Nantel, one of their new recruits, of course, he basically said that Quebec should separate from Canada as soon as is possible. Elizabeth May tried to say on the one hand that that is not a separatist statement, which is BS, but then also say that if he does believe what he said, yesterday, then she would remove him from the party. But of course, as we know, the Green Party supposedly does not whip votes. So we don't have an answer. Do they accept people with these views or don't they? Do they allow these divergent views in their caucus or their candidate slates or don't they? And so because of all of that, no real attention was paid to what Elizabeth May was actually saying about her vision, and more about the logical inconsistencies and message inconsistencies of the Green Party. So both because Singh had a great performance, and also because his key opponents didn't have such a great performance, he came off looking extremely good. Finally, it has to be said that expectations in politics matter. And I see some similarities between Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh. Not on policy. I'm not a Trudeau fan. I'm a big fan of Jagmeet Singh. But in terms of how they were received during the early parts of their tenure. And Justin Trudeau was seen as unsubstantive, unserious, more flash and less substance. And people had relatively low expectations of Justin Trudeau going into those early debates and the early days of the campaign. And he was sitting in third because of it. But when you have low expectations, sometimes, meeting and exceeding those expectations is easier, but also gets you praise. And I think one of the narratives here was that while I think Jagmeet Singh's low expectations are unfair, some journalists have noted his ability to exceed them and suggest that Canadians are going to maybe get a new side of Jagmeet Singh they haven't seen. And I think one comment by Rosie Barton of the CBC maybe will speak louder than any other out of all these, forms of praise from the first day. And Rosie basically said Jagmeet sounded like Jack Layton. She drew the line between Jagmeet and Jack. And I think that's a fruitful connection for the NDP. But drawing that Jack to Jagmeet line is one that the NDP should lean into hard. Because Jack Layton is still viewed positively by, Liberal and Green and NDP voters. And a lot of people will say, maybe disingenuously, but I think some people mean it, that it's just too bad Jack isn't here anymore. And I think if you can make that connection, you can draw some people into the NDP tent. And I think it's crucial to note that what made Jack special was that he was a happy warrior. That Jack Layton had a positive vision, but he wasn't afraid to criticize those whose viewpoints and policies are a barrier to that progressive vision. And I think Jagmeet Singh can find that balance. Jagmeet Singh has a vision for the many and not for the few, of taxing the rich to pay for the services we need, of helping workers and working class and middle class families find housing by attacking speculation and the private market, which has not served the interests of the average, person who needs shelter. But Jagmeet Singh likewise has a positive air. He's a likable guy. He's affable. He's, has a great sense of humor. And when you combine those things, I think you have a potent combination. You have somebody who can be critical of their opponents in a strident manner, but not come off as aggressive. And if you can do that, you can win a lot of people over. So it's just day one, guys. It's literally just day one. We got more than a month of an election. And the winner of day one is not always the winner of election day. But momentum in politics is incredibly important. We saw how Justin Trudeau, over that long election in 2015, went from the guy with the nice hair that no one really, respected, to a majority government. And he did so with, a gradual rise and with building momentum in various parts of the country. Jagmeet Singh, I think, has all of the style that Justin Trudeau has, and more of the talent and more of the vision. I think that he has the chance to string together performances like this and move forward into a positive direction to win seats for the NDP in every region of this country. And of course, as we know, the first debate is tonight. I'll be going live after the debate here on YouTube to talk about it. And one crucial aspect that I think is being underemphasized is that because Justin Trudeau isn't going to be there, and because Elizabeth May has said she would support Andrew Scheer potentially, Jagmeet Singh will be front and center to the entire country as the anti-conservative, anti-Andrew Scheer option for Canadians. Justin Trudeau isn't on the stage to be that, and Elizabeth May has no credibility to take that mantle. And I think that a lot of Canadians don't want to see an Andrew Scheer government, but they're not sure about who they want as their champion to oppose him. And I think that's Jagmeet Singh's opportunity, and we're going to see tonight if he seizes it.